Hi, I'm Erica Bugbee. I'm the founder of Erica Bugbee Coaching. I was talking to a group of practitioners the other day that were asking about teenagers. I specialize in teenagers, and they were asking about extreme behaviors like cutting, suicidal thoughts, crime, So because I got so many questions about it, I thought, well, I have enough people that follow my videos that work with teenagers or are interested in working with teenagers. So I was going to share what I see about extreme behaviors. So when I talk about extreme behaviors, what I mean is either like self-harm, cutting, suicidal thoughts, rage, like extreme rage, severe social anxiety, crying every day, risky or impulsive behavior. You see a lot of that. I've been doing this 22 years, and the behaviors can change a little bit. There's certain ones that will trend, but there's always extreme behaviors in teenagers, and sometimes it scares people. But there's a few things about it that I see that are sort of, in a way, I see them all the same. Things about them that really helps me to understand how to talk about them, no matter which one you're looking at. So one of the things about teenagers is that if you work with them, you'll see this, is that their mood states are more extreme. They just have bigger moods, louder moods, more extreme moods. And essentially moods are like, they're no different than weather. They just happen in your psychology, but it's just a change in energy, that sort of ebb and flow in energy. You're just sitting there and all of a sudden there's a change. All of a sudden there's a big mood, sometimes triggered by something, sometimes you just wake up that way. We're all that way, but they're more extreme. The mood states are more extreme when in people that have a more intense and emotional levels. So teenagers generally have bigger emotions, and so their mood states are more extreme. Or if there's a lot of stress, people's moods, if they're under a lot of stress, they're having a midlife crisis, or they go into bankruptcy, they're having financial trouble or marital problems, their mood states are going to be bigger and more intense. And what you see with bigger, more intense moods is more extreme behavior. So the behavior is just a manifestation or a side effect of people's mood states. So they look scary from the outside, but if you see how the whole system works, it takes the fear out of them, because teenagers are just doing exactly what we're doing when we're in bad moods or low moods, just they're doing things that are louder. So essentially what happens is extreme behaviors for people and for teenagers are just a way of releasing energy. It helps them, sort of the way that it helps when somebody is upset, and if you're upset and you vent, you kind of unload to somebody like a friend. Getting that out resets your energy, and then you can think straight. It clears your head. So first of all, getting upset and worked up over something, or just having a really hard day and wanting to vent, is a natural thing, as natural as weather. Needing to vent is an answer. It's one way it's essentially evidence of the fact that we're connected to an intelligence behind life, that when we need to be reset, your mind will give you the idea, you'll have the thought to vent to somebody, to explode, to have a meltdown. It might not work out great for the people around you. It might wreak some havoc in your life, but it's sometimes the only way people see to reset. And it's evidence, it's proof that we're connected to something, an intelligent system that stabilizes us. And it's just a different way of looking at extreme behavior. Those are an answer. It's the only answer sometimes that teenagers have. So what that means is that they're not broken or weird or different. It doesn't mean that they're a mess or that they're fragile or weak. It just means that they have really big moods and they have to find a big, loud answer. And so in a way, so adults have the same, when adults are in bad moods or low moods, they worry, they get negative or critical. Maybe they get on their teenager's case. Maybe they get on their spouse's case. You probably did that this week. So adults get into behaviors that are a little bit extreme for them. They get in their worst version of their behaviors. So teenagers are no different than adults. And what will happen is a few times a year, adults will have a meltdown. Either they'll explode and at somebody in their house, or they'll get to a breaking point and they'll have a meltdown. They get really depressed for a few days and get really, really low, get overwhelmed and immobilized, can't get out of bed. But as soon as that comes to a head and something, what happens, there's an extreme behavior on their part, they stabilize. So it really helps if I find it, people can see teenagers they're just a different expression of exactly what happens to normal functioning adults. So what can they do? How do you help them with that? So what? So there's a few things about that that's helpful for teenagers and helpful for anybody helping teenagers, is that it's possible for teenagers to handle their moods more gracefully. Is that if you can teach them to stop feeling so bad and being so judgmental about what they do, what their extreme behavior is. They don't feel bad about it. They stop worrying about the fact that they're self-harming. If they're less alarmed by it, and they can get out of judging themselves or their behavior, they can learn. They can look at it more like a scientist would and learn from it, step back from it and say, well, it tends to happen when I have when there's a lot going on at school, academically, when I'm under a lot of pressure. They'll see, sometimes they can see it coming. They can feel the buildup, and that will help them sort of, maybe they need to step back sooner. The way that you would if you get angry in the car at somebody, before you get into road rage, you might, well, maybe you don't, but maybe if you're one of those people that is able to catch it early, you stop yourself and you say, all right, I'm getting agitated. Let me back off of this person. Let me pull over and calm down. So teenagers haven't learned that yet. That's what adults do. So it helps them to see, they can look at their extreme behaviors and learn from them. They might have fresh thoughts about them, like, I have too much on my plate. When I act out more, it tends to be when I have too much pressure. And I think school's gotten harder. I need to stop doing a sport. I need to hang out with friends less. I need to rest more. So there's something in initiating that conversation helps them see, oh, maybe that's an indicator. Maybe my extreme behavior is a sign that I need to be, that my mind is not doing well. The way that my cat used to twitch his tail before he scratched you. So you read his body language, and you go over to him and his tail gets twitchy, not to pet him. He's going to scratch you. And that's what extreme behavior is that when, a teenager is having a lot of social anxiety, they may need to rest more. They may need to get away from people a little bit. There's maybe adjustments they need to be making. Those extreme behaviors the signs, the early warning signs are there to help them. So the last thing that I noticed is that it's helpful for teenagers to see is that they do fall apart, but every single time they reset and they get their composure back, their stability, and all of a sudden there's somebody that they're proud of, that they can recognize. Their strengths come back, the qualities about them that they like, that they think are good, those come back. So, and they go back and we clean up the messes we made when we exploded on someone or we're unproductive. We go back and fix things to some degree. So it's helpful for them to see that after every episode of extreme behavior, in between those episodes, they get their stability back. So that there's a system taking care of them. It's like there's a tailwind that helps them along. So there's now what I see in teenagers is, because they're in our office and we're sitting there able to help them because of their extreme behaviors, that's created an opportunity for us to show them how to see it in a way that helps them make sense of it and get a learning curve in a way that will help them with for the rest of their lives. So they may be somebody that gets themselves into fewer relationship problems because we see we need to walk away from an argument sooner. They will, because they're struggling so much and they had to have somebody like us help them, it's an opportunity for them to catch on to something sooner, to have insight and make sense of something and get ahead of something early in their life. So they'll have an easier time than we did. So it's not only isn't a bad thing, but that's one of the reasons I love working with teenagers is you catch them early and you explain something to them. It's a different way of understanding it that shows them the health in them and the ability to be resilient and step back and learn. It's a very empowering and it's very hopeful. And if you can see that, it will rub off on your clients. So just to recap, the fact that they're connected to an intelligent system, that's resetting them. The fact that there's nothing wrong with them. They're working exactly the way everybody else is. And the fact that they always stabilize, that their strengths always come back, even though their weaknesses are there, their strengths are right behind them. Creates a lot of hope and confidence in teenagers, such as they are. They can be exactly the mess that they are and feel hopeful and confident and have faith in themselves again.